Hey, well, happy Sunday. I'm on a walk. No editing, no scripting. If you are looking to multiply fat loss, you're looking for the best system, you're looking for the ultimate cheat code to losing fat, this is for you. Now, if you're watching this video, I'm sure at some point you probably tried all kinds of diets, you tried all kind of workout plans. And if you haven't, you probably know, at least at the bare minimum level, that you can't eat whatever you want. You can't do whatever you want to lose weight. You know, you have to generally eat healthy and you know you have to work out. So at this point, you probably know it's not really the what that you need, but it's more so the how. How do you actually do the stuff that you know you're supposed to do to lose the weight, to lose the fat, to get the body that you're wanting? And that's what I'm going to touch on. That's ultimately what this video is all about. That is your superpower, and it starts in here. And I'm not talking about your mindset. I know everyone says that whole mindset mumbo jumbo. What we are talking about, okay, is the prefrontal cortex. That's a part of your brain that does all the decision making for you, decides how you think, how you feel, your reasoning. We're gonna learn to master that. So this video is for that person. Once you understand the importance of the mindset and the decisions that you make, you'll start to learn you don't have a fat problem. You don't have a motivation problem. You have a decision making problem. And that's what we're going to learn to kind of talk about and fix here. So why should you listen to me, right? I'm not just some black guy walking in a neighborhood, right? I'm a health and fitness coach. I'm a performance optimization coach. I work with business owners, wealth managers, and folk are over 250 people at this point. I've been doing this for about 7 years. You can check my profile, any of my socials. I've helped hundreds of people lose anywhere from 15 to 30 pounds in 90 days. So I know what I'm talking about when I talk about this stuff. And through my years of experience, starting off as a coach, you know, you focus on the X's and O's, you focus on the meal plans and the workouts, and you try to dial that stuff in, but you start to learn real quick, no matter how good your plan is, no matter how good the coaching is, that is not ultimately what keeps people from getting the results they want. I can tell you that 10,000 times over. It always comes back to two people that I find. I either get the person who has made the decision that regardless of what comes up, regardless of what opposition, they're going to do this thing, or I get the person who decides to not do that. And that is ultimately the difference maker in the people who succeed and get the body they want, lose the fat they want, and the people who don't. It is really just as simple as that. So my point is, all right, my arm's getting tired. I got to switch back and forth. My point is, right, is that rather than focusing on the perfect plan, the perfect workout, we got to start with ultimately the foundation of all of this stuff, the stuff that actually leads to us getting the body and the results we want. And that's our mindset and our decision making. And let's go a step deeper, right? It's about decisions, but how do we make that decision? How do we reinforce this decision and this new lifestyle to the point where we do it long enough, right? And stay consistent enough to actually get results. And that's where the kind of the power lies. So I'm just going to walk you through a simple system that I've taken all my people through to help them stay consistent enough to get results. And the first part is what I call the identity shift. Now, a huge problem why most people can't stick to stuff is they focus so much on the what and the how, and they completely ignore the power of the why, which is honestly the most important thing. It's the foundation of why us as people do anything. We have to focus on the why. The why is it's the source. It's the meat potatoes of all this stuff. And what I mean by the why, I'm not just talking about why am I doing this. I'm talking about the why behind why does this matter to you? Why is this important? That stuff, when it gets hard, when you can't eat that food you like to eat as much, when the workout sucks and you're really sore, or you have a crazy week at work, or your kids just pissing you off, you know, that why is what keeps you going through those hard moments. That keeps you, allows you to handle and endure the friction so you can ultimately get to where you want to go. So we start with the identity thing. As a man, think of so is he. So whatever man or woman you want to become, it starts up here. It starts with how you think. So we reinforce positive thinking, one, with our mantra. And it's not some like crazy chakra, woohoo, magical stuff, but it's just simply, we start to change the words that we tell ourselves and the words that we think about. So we change what we're looking at, we change what we're listening to, and we replace those things with the positive affirmations and the positive words that we ultimately want to become like. So if I know I want to be someone who loses, who can be lean, someone who works out consistently, I'm probably not going to watch a bunch of videos and be around people who are constantly talking about eating whatever, doing whatever. And I'm probably gonna be a little bit more mindful of the people I hang out with and what they do and what they eat. It's a simple changing your environment so to where what's going on in your eyes and your ears are gonna ultimately be helping you and reinforcing this change that you've made, this identity shift that you made. So I would go as far with my people as to say, man, like whatever your goals are, whatever positive things you want to say about yourself and speak over yourself, write them down, put them on your fridge, put them on your mirror, put them in your car, put them in places to where you're going to be seeing them all the time, because that's going to start to change the way you think, which will ultimately change who you are and what you are. Part two, outside of that identity shift, is going to be your systems. Okay, the systems are the strategy. Without strategy, it doesn't matter, regardless, it doesn't matter how much principles you have. Without the strategy, you will fail. You need a good system for eating. You need a good system for workouts. And if you're a busy, high-performing professional, it's going to be two things: effectiveness and simplicity. Find 2 to 3 foods, 2 to 3 meals with 2 to 3 ingredients. Keep it very simple. They're high quality, nutritious, high in protein that you can eat on repeat. Simplicity, easy to make so it doesn't overwhelm you, so you can stay consistent. That is the goal. You want to do the same thing with your workouts: 30 to 45 minutes, one compound lift, whether it's a squat, bench, deadlift, a few isolation movements, 3 to 4 sets of that, and some type of cardio to finish your workout in. Keep it very, very simple. You have to, crawl before you can walk and walk before you can run, right? We hear this all the time, but yeah, we rarely ever think about this for ourselves and how we treat our own systems and processes. So keep your systems very, very simple and effective. Eat the right stuff, eat stuff that you can repeat and do consistently. Find workouts that you can do 30, 45 minutes so they don't take up your whole day, and do them on repeat. So that's step 2, find good systems. Make sure you're doing the right stuff, right? Making sure you're getting enough food earlier in the day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I talk about my 3-2-1 eating principle in a lot of my videos. Go back through and watch those. I'll probably attach one to the end of this video as well. But making sure you're getting most of your food early in the day, you're tapering off your eating, eating less as the day goes on so you can get good quality sleep, which is what will drive results in the first place. Man, and honestly, part 3, very, very simple. It's kind of what ties it all together. But you got to do this for something bigger than just yourself, right? Obviously, fat loss and weight loss ultimately starts with you. But it's got to be bigger than just yourself. It's got to be for your if you have a wife, if you have kids, it's got to be for if you have a business, your legacy, for your family, for a friend, to show somebody that you can make a difference. It's got to be for more than yourself. I've been doing this thing a long time, and the people who only do this thing for vanity, and it's just about, I just want to look good or I want to make my ex jealous, never stick with it. We are by nature intrinsically motivated people, which means if motivation only comes from external things, we will never ever stick with whatever we set out to do. So find your intrinsic motivation, whether it's your son, your daughter, whether it's your parents, whether it's your siblings. Maybe you run a business and you want your employees to see a better version of you, but it's gotta be for something bigger than just yourself. If it stays within yourself, you'll never get there. You'll never stay consistent with it. Short, simple, sweet. I hope that helped you. I hope that gave you some value. If you like this kind of video, if you want to hear more of this stuff, please let me know in the comments. I'm getting hot and I'm getting sweaty. I live in Fort Worth, Texas. It is hot. So I'm gonna keep walking and keep rolling. You guys stay fit, stay blessed.